Hey out there, this is Cocklaw. I'm going to do a quick video on ArchiCAD 16. So we've just received ArchiCAD 16. I thought I'd do a quick video uh, showing my first impression. So the first thing I thought I'd show was a render. I'll show you just how I've made up this render. I'll turn on all the layers and try and describe what I've set up for this particular. It's got a general light source in there for you. I'll just check the light. It's a light density of 5, so it's low. I've got some recessed light fit, and it's just to help cast some shadows and some interest into the room. As you can see, it's just a small extension. We've got the window light set a bit higher. Make sure you get them on your VLUX as well, that's important. And just a further afield, we're using sun object and sky object set at 50 on the intensity. So okay, so just as a reference, just the general usual settings that you'd set up for a render, and we'll see what this looks like when we render it up and give our first thoughts. I mean, I've had a little nosy around. I've had to play with the morph tool. It seems interesting. You can do a lot with it, but I can't really think of an instant where I'm going to need it or where I'm going to use it really, other than just stretching out objects. The only thing I could think is that I can now make a dice out of a cube. Other than that, I've not really been able to see. If you just see there, it's just a basic room. I've lightened up the carpets as much as I can. I've got a profiled skirting board there. We'll start this rendering up and just see what it looks like. See how things render in 16. See if there's a big difference from previous versions. The only other thing that I've really noticed from 16 is the rotate. You get kind of a protractor coming up. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is. It doesn't seem really useful. It's more off-putting than anything. I'm hoping I can find a way of turning it off at the moment, but as the weeks go by, I'm sure we'll find out what all these new useful bits and bobs are for, and hopefully it is better and it does increase. I have to be honest, when I actually first set this off rendering, it crashed. So the first test run, I was going to put it on the video, but I thought that was just being a bit malevolent, so I didn't bother. But it did crash first time out. I mean, if we look there, the detail looks quite good. The shadows are good. If you can see the bright light there, kind of trying to illustrate like a ceiling rose. I mean, that light's only set on 5, so sometimes it's nice to have some soft lights there on your renders for anyone that's just starting out or a student or whatever. We'll see how the detail shows up. It's looking good so far, actually. It's looking quite clean. I mean, I won't make the whole render watch, and you can see how slow my machine is. I'll skip it to the end. Yeah, just a point there, you see, I've put the screen obviously just for the client's reference. A lot of people ask how do you put the images in. Now on the television, and make sure it's the object within luxury items for the T object, and you can put custom picture in. And what people get stuck on, they just type in the name of the picture that they want to use, but what you've got to remember is you've got to load the picture that you require. In this case, Monsters Inc. that I've loaded. You've got to load it into your libraries, bring it in as an element. You call the picture Monsters Inc. .jpeg. You've got to type in .jpeg in the actual object settings where it's custom image, and that's where people get stuck. Okay, well you can see the image. I've let it run off there. It's pretty nice, to be honest, isn't it? It looks quite quite good, quite smooth. This isn't Artland, this is just in ArchiCAD itself, a fairly decent render. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I mean, it's not a huge improvement, but it certainly is improved. Here's another image I did on the next project. Again, this is ArchiCAD 16 straight off the bat. This is going to be the same room, just from a different angle. And you can see you're creating some great effects. I mean, the shadows and the lighting is really good. I haven't had time to play with all the new materials and objects yet, but as far as it goes, ArchiCAD 16, as renders goes, looks pretty good to me. Leave a comment with your thoughts.